I miss doing things for the joy of it. I miss doing things for the fun of it, not to impress people, not to be, not to pass a grade, not to make some money, not to, get some social currency. Like, I miss doing things for the fun of it. And I think as a creator, I love creating and I create for the joy of it. I do. But I also have to market it, right? And so that means that it has to be consumable. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I'm saying it. And I just want a space to just be myself and to talk about things that I want to talk about and meander and go on tangents and rants. I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. and and it doesn't, some of the things may be serious, some of the things may just be for fun. Like, I have recurring memories of things I used to do for fun, like take baby powder and water and make the water a little droplet and make the droplet hydrophobic by putting powder over it. Like, that used to be a lot of fun. I used to ride my bike for fun. I used to skate for fun. What things I do as a child for fun? Run around outside, go explore. One time I rescued some kittens and my mom was like, absolutely not. You cannot bring those in this house. I found them like in a drain or a gutter, I think. And I was like, oh my God, there's little kittens. And I just knew, right? I just knew if I brought this box of kittens home, my mom was gonna let us adopt it. And no ma'am. What else I used to do for fun? Explore nature. Again, go out into fields. Literally, me and my friend, shout out to Marcus, we would not escape. We would break into, but not really. I don't know. We would go into fields and take pictures. But when I was a kid, I used to go into fields and just like walk around and explore. And I just always felt magical out there. Like, I felt magical in the woods. I felt magical. I remember looking up and like this dried up pond. So there was like sand at the bottom and there were reeds of like cattails. And I just looked up at the sky and it was just so magical against the sky, Life as a kid was magical. There was so much to explore and to learn and to try. And I think the older we get, the more we are concerned with people's acceptance. And when you're concerned with people's acceptance, there are things that you do to be accepted by other people, right? That you might not want to do. You start to put down the things that people called weird or different or people questioned or, looked at you sideways for. And then you start to become an adult. You start to, using air quotes, mature, which really just means like becoming less and less of yourself. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, sit up straight, stop doing all that talking. Why are you singing in the middle of class? Blah, blah, blah. Just like all these, I don't know, all of these classes we go through, right? That trims off a little bit. We learn things. Absolutely. I think classrooms are great, but I also think that not just in school, but at the job and socially, like we start to shave off parts of ourselves that make us us. And before we know it, we're adults and we're trying to get back in touch with our inner child, right? Because we have become something that's accepted by people, but something that is foreign to us. And I think that a lot of us experience that feeling. And, for a lot of us, like we want to get back to that child self, like that joy, but we're afraid of being seen. We're afraid of being perceived, I should say. Because it's not just about being seen, right? It's also about like, what are they going to think about what I'm doing? What are they going to think about who I am? What are they going to say? What's going to happen? What are the consequences of me being myself? And so I kind of wanted to do this audio journal for me, in honor of my little leash, my little Alecia. And I miss doing things. I miss doing things for the fun of it. I miss doing things that brought me joy. I miss talking about things, and I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things, like I said earlier, but there's no place to put them. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a writer, I'm a photographer. I make things with my feelings. I make things with my emotions. And as a kid, you learn very quickly that people don't like emotions. People don't like feeling. People don't like you being sensitive, right? You have to learn to acclimate to the culture of your family and of society. And sadly, we live in a world that doesn't really take the time to feel our feelings because we don't have time, right? Like to feel our feelings and to honor the feelings of others. And so a lot of us are taught to push down our feelings and emotions, and then we teach other people to do the same thing. And I want to read you something that I wrote in my journal about that. Yeah, so I carry a random like small journal with me to write down random thoughts because they're always coming to me, just about random stuff. It's in no particular order. It's not necessarily about one thing. It's about a million things. Like, here we go. What is something that I wrote down that's random in here? I guess it really doesn't matter. But I write down random things in here, and here's something random that I wrote down that I want to share with you. It was random at the time, but it's relevant now. So here we go. People are always telling sensitive people to grow thicker skin. But what if they are the canary in the coal mine? What if telling them to numb themselves is actually harming the collective? What if their sensitivity saves us from one another and ourselves? What if by yelling at the sensitive, telling her to stop all that crying, what if actually shuts off the heavens? What if telling the sensitive to ignore their feelings ushers in and makes us complicit with our own destruction and early demise? And I think about children. I think about how honest children are, and how we teach children to be honest, but we don't really like honesty, do we? Because honesty is often hard to hear and hard to say. It's easier to do the thing that's expected and accepted than it is to be honest, And so I think about how kids, they're so sensitive and they're so tapped in, and we tell them to deny their feelings. Like we tell them, don't lie, don't lie. Don't lie to grandma, don't lie to, such and such, don't lie to your friends or whatever. But then we say, lie to me and tell me what I want to hear, right? Don't tell me the truth. Tell me what I want to hear. And I think enough of that teaches you that, people don't really want you to be honest, and it's not safe to be sensitive. We also learn it's not safe to be sensitive because the world is rough. And especially as a Black woman, I think people already assume that they see you and you're, I'm a tall Black woman. And so like people assume like, oh, you're tough and you're strong or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I'm all those things. And also I'm very sensitive. I'm very soft. And unfortunately, people don't expect that. People want to manhandle me and roughhouse me, even emotionally. And I often have to protect myself, and so I have learned over the years to be ferocious and I've learned to be strong, and I've learned to be honest again. As a recovering people pleaser, it's like when you're taught that you have to please other people, i.e. lie, to survive, you start to question, like, is it safe to tell the truth? Is it safe to be honest about how something is making me feel, right? Like you tell people how something makes you feel and they don't care. What's the point of, making yourself vulnerable like that again? And I think because of that, people grow thick skin. People put on armor, people protect themselves as they should, right? I just wish that there was a way that people could protect themselves without having to numb themselves too. Because I think, and I have this theory that if you have to protect yourself, if you have to numb yourself, right, that also numbs you from the good feelings. It doesn't just numb you from sadness and sorrow and disappointment. It also numbs you to joy and happiness and fulfillment, And so because I choose, because I want to live fully, I choose to feel all the feelings. And that is hard sometimes. That is really difficult sometimes. I'm easily inspired. I'm easily made joyful, right? The sunshine in the morning, the sunbeams finding me in the morning brings me joy, but also passing by, a bird that got hit by a car makes me sad. I remember when I was a kid. No, I wasn't a kid. I might have been an adult, but I was, my mom came home from, I think she was like driving home from picking up my brother or something like that. And she told me on her way home, she saw somebody hit a goose. And I'm going to spare you the details because it just makes me sad. But I went in my room after she told me and I cried. And I feel like I'm going to cry now. I sobbed and I cried so much for that goose. And then I remember one time I left an Applebee's, and we left it was late night happy hour at Applebee's with my friends. And I was walking out to my car to go home. And there was this baby skunk, and it looked like it had a limp, and it kept falling over. And even though I think about that now, I'm going to cry. But anyway, I'm really sensitive, and it doesn't take much to make me sad because I want someone to take care of the skunk. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you do? So anyway, and I went home after that, and I laid on my husband's chest, and I cried myself to sleep because of the skunk. And I can't help that. I can't help that that's how I'm made. I can't change that, and I realize that the world wants me to be tougher because I think, even when I think about my family, it makes them sad for me to be sad. And I know, It makes them sad for me to be sad, and I know they want nothing more in the world than for me to be happy. And I think because they can't stop me from feeling, it makes them sad and angry because they want to protect me, you know? And I think in them wanting to protect me and telling me when I was a kid, oh, don't feel sad, grow thicker skin, you know, is really something they had to do when they were growing up. And so they don't mean anything malicious by it. They just want to protect me, but I don't think that they, in real life, I wish they got to live in a world where they could be sensitive, where they could express themselves and be honored, where they could say how they felt and people held it as sacred, you know, and didn't chastise them for feeling, for being human. I think about how much we numb ourselves, even to like what's happening in the world. There is so much grief. The world is so heavy, and because it's so much, we can't overload ourselves with all this. And then we feel guilt for not wanting to feel all of it, not wanting to see all of it, right? It's just a lot. And so being a sensitive person is hard. It's hard. And often a lot of people don't want to do the work of, you know, being soft and sensitive with you. People will know that you're sensitive, and instead of, shifting a little bit, they expect you to change. They expect you to match the energy of the world, right? And I've never been able to do that. And I don't want to do that. Can I be honest? I love being sensitive, even with all the heaviness, even with all of the hard parts, right? I'm not going to say bad, because I don't think being sad about something is bad. I think even breaking up relationships, right? I think there is sorrow there because there's pain, because I made space for a person. You know what I mean? Like, or what else? You know, losing something that you love, like that feeling. A lot of people don't want to love because they don't want to feel the pain of losing it. But even when I feel the pain of losing it, it's because I loved it. You know what I mean? And that means that I fully lived. And I don't think that I get to get out of here unscathed. You know, if I want to experience all the joy, then there are also some hard parts that I have to unfortunately experience as well. It didn't have to be that way, right? But it happened. So you deal with it. And so I think a lot of responses to heartache would be like, oh, let me protect myself. So let me not be sensitive. But for me, I lean all the way in. I lean all the way into my feelings. And I love being a fully feeling human being. Yeah, so in real life, I wish that my family had space to really be honest about how they felt. I wish they had time, you know, where they weren't just, you know, working for money, where they could just sit down and be with their feelings. But when you're surviving, who has time to feel, right? Like, who has time to cry? So you develop tactics to deal with your pain. And sometimes those things are not the best. You push them down, right? You drink them down. You shout out to Solange. I'm thinking about, I tried to drink it away, you know, like cranes in the sky. But anyway, like you do things to survive. Because what else are you going to do? Die, right? Like, you do whatever you have to do to survive. And yeah, I honestly believe that if we were all given the space, the safety, we would all be sensitive. And I think that sensitivity is beneficial. And I think that sensitivity saves us, right? Like, if you're in what I just read to you, if we don't listen to the canaries in the coal mine, we perish, right? And I think in the same way, our sensitivities are given to us to feel my way through. Like, even when I think about my sensitivities, I feel my way through life, right? And I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, I'm right. It is what it is. Like, I feel my way through life, and people say, like, do facts, not feelings. My feelings are facts, right? Like, it's not imaginary. You know what I'm saying? And I understand what they mean by that. But, like, no, you're not going to discount my feelings, because my feelings help me survive, right? Like, I feel anger because I feel like somebody has done something to me that is an injustice, right? I feel fear because, you know, it's new. I feel fear because it's something that's scary, that I should be afraid of. I'm trying to think of, like, using air quotes, negative emotions, or what people will call negative. I feel envy. I feel envy because I want to do what someone else is doing, right? Like, I had a whole workshop on that, like, on envy and jealousy, the difference between the two, and how envy is a sign. Like, envy is not a bad thing. I think we've been shamed to feel envy. But envy is just a sign to say, hey, I want to do that. I want to try that. I would like that, right? Like, it's a what do you call it? Like an arrow on the GPS, like saying, hey, reroute, you know. But you wouldn't know unless you saw somebody else do it, you know. Yeah, but anyway, all those sensitivities are important. And my feelings, I think about inside out. I have a deep relationship with my feelings, and a new feeling that I have been leaning into. Shout out to Marquita, one of my besties. Marquita was telling me that she was proud of me that I'm getting in touch with my rage. And for a long time, I was afraid of my rage. I was afraid of being angry because women weren't allowed to be angry, and Black women especially were not allowed to be angry, right? Because the world already assumes that we are angry and violent and all these like animalistic whatever, like, and so there's no room to be angry. And so I tried my best not to be angry. And then growing up in the church, you're taught like be angry but sin not, right? And so even though, okay, fine, sin not, but usually that also means don't talk about it. Like, you're not allowed to be angry. You shouldn't be angry. Just forgive. Like, just turn the other cheek. Like, there's all these things. So you have all this pent up rage as a child and a girl with nowhere to go, you know? And I'm feeling good about myself lately because I have been standing up for myself. In the past, when I was afraid of my rage and my anger, I wouldn't stand up for myself because I didn't want to come across as angry. I didn't want to come across as bitter. I didn't want to be labeled, my entire self labeled for one moment, you know? And I'm realizing now, and spending time with Audre Lorde and Gatsby Oshun and Marquita, and, you know, learning from them, being in relationship with Marquita, my bestie, like her reflecting that back to me. And I'm realizing my anger is important. I'm allowed to be protected. I'm allowed to be angry that somebody would disrespect me. I'm allowed to protect myself. I'm allowed to raise my voice. I'm allowed to make a fuss, right? I'm allowed to not let nobody play in my face. I'm allowed to not let people lie to me and lie on me. You know what I mean? I'm allowed to not let people disrespect me and disregard me. I'm allowed to do that. And I think that because the world expects Black women to be ashamed of that, or, you know, yeah, they expect Black women to be easily shamed by being called angry. They think that stuff works, you know? And I'm realizing now that anger, that rage that I have, that fire I have is love. It is a deep love for justice. It is a deep love for myself. It is a deep love for others. I get most of the time I only get angry when people are being mistreated. That's it. Not much makes me angry except people being mistreated. Like, that's whatever it is, right? People being underpaid, people being harmed, you know, like people mistreating other people, people talking down to people, people, you know, abusing people, like that stuff. Like, that stuff makes me angry. People disrespecting people. We were at a concert. So we went to go see Beyonce and, what was it? In whatever. We went to go see Beyonce in DC. And so, using air quotes, DC, for those who know, you know. But we went to go see Beyonce in DC. And there was this lady behind us, and she was on oxygen, right? She was, you know, wearing an oxygen tank, and she was there with her, I think her daughter, I believe. And this white guy and this white girl come over to her and are basically like, "Oh, so you ladies are in our seat, huh?" Like, almost like in a weird, rude way. I don't know exactly what he said, but it was that tone. It was very much like, "Oh, so you came over here and sat in our seats to steal our seats on purpose." Sir, this is a huge stadium. Could it be possible that they are sitting in the wrong? So me and the girl in front of me looked back and was like, "Excuse me?" Like, immediately, because who are you talking to, right? Like, that stuff makes me angry. You don't have to talk to people like that. You don't. It's a choice. And you made that choice and that decision before you got there because this is your first interaction with them. You know what I mean? So stuff like that grinds my gears. And when stuff like that is happening, I feel the need to step in and let people know you cannot treat people like that. That is a divine, holy being. Who are you talking to? You know what I mean? So anyway, I also wrote down something else, and I don't remember. This is like the third time I recorded this. I can't remember if I said this or not, but I wrote down something in February of this year, February 21st, from February 21st to February 24th. Yes. So it was over the course of 4 days. I was just venting to myself about things that I felt. And, and I was talking to someone, and I was talking to someone, and I'm not sure if they want me to share this, but they were basically saying that they are a soft flower or delicate flower of a woman, right? Like, they always say that they're a delicate flower of a woman. And when she said that, I was like, this reminds me of something I wrote in February that I forgot all about. I forgot all about this. So I'm going to read what I wrote down on February 21st, but 2025. So here we go. I am sensitive. I am soft. I am a snowflake. I am a petal. I am a blade of grass, an iridescent bubble dancing in the summer's golden afternoon light. I am grandma's fine china. I am your mother's heart. I am baby skin. I am a baby. Someone's baby. I am sensitive. I am delicate. I am a dream upon waking. I am winter evenings quiet. I am eggshell and egg yolk. I am fragile. I am precious. I am heartbreak. I am tender moments between loved ones. I am the memory of your ancestor you think of fondly. Yay. So that's the first entry on the 21st. And I was just writing that because people were treating me so roughly, you know? And I'm sensitive. I'm soft. I'm a snowflake. I'm a petal. I'm a blade of grass. I'm an iridescent bubble dancing in the summer's golden afternoon light. Like, you have to be gentle with me, right? I'm a dream upon waking. Like, I am sensitive. You know what I'm saying? And I think that because we live under these rough systems, we think that it's normal to be so rough. This is not normal. Think about how soft a baby's skin is. Think about like a baby's palm. You know, it's so soft and it's so warm and it smells yummy, right? And then as that child grows up and starts playing on the monkey bars, what happens? Like, they develop a callus, right? And they're like under their hands. I used to have them because I used to play on monkey bars. And so, yeah, like, you develop the calluses to protect the skin, to protect the soft skin underneath. Like, the calluses are there, but the soft skin is underneath, right? And so I don't think in a lot of ways I was able to develop those calluses. I don't know. I don't know if I'll say this. I know that I am sensitive, and so therefore I don't develop thick skin. I place myself in soft situations. Again, I got to shout out Gatsby Oshun, and we were talking about this recently, and she was saying I need to be delicate with myself and gentle with myself. And I agree. And I think that because this world has taught me, like, no, you're the weird one, right? Like, you're the weird one for being sensitive. And the world is normal, so you have to acclimate to them. That's what I was thinking about earlier. Acclimate. So yes, I have to acclimate to them, right? It's like, no, actually, there are soft places in this world that you can go to honor yourself, to center yourself. We're taught to center the world and to fit ourselves into it, where I want to center myself and create the world around me. So no, every place is not going to be a good place for me. Every space is not going to be a good space for me. Every relationship is not going to be good for me, right? Because I am sensitive. And if I have people who cannot honor those sensitivities, then I can't be in a relationship with those people. And I think that always causes me great heartbreak because I create room for other people and they don't create the room back for me. You know, I honor them, but they don't honor me. And, you know, that's just life. But it also sucks. It hurts. But this is something that I wrote about other people treating me. And so, because I don't know, sensitivity for me is not just my emotions. It's also my body. It's my skin. It's the way that I hear. It's everything. I did a whole podcast before about my body and how my body is sensitive and how the world has treated it so roughly, right? I talked about getting my nails done. And this is how like this whole conversation started. That's why I don't get my nails done anymore. I just get press-on nails. So if you see me with nails, they're press-ons because I can't do it until I find somebody who can do my nails in a gentle way. Let me get to the story. So basically, long story short, I went to get my nails done for the day before my birthday, and my birthday's in January. So I wanted to get like a deep red color for like garnet, right? Go into the salon, sit down, tell the girl what color I wanted. And she comes back and starts, you know, putting the extensions on the nails and the tips and stuff like that, like they had the color. Came back, the color was wrong. I said, I don't want this color. And she said, oh, that's all we have. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me? I could have picked a different one. Then on top of that, the way that she was doing it, she was nicking my cuticles. Like, y'all know when they nick your cuticles and it bleeds? Oh my gosh. Like, and so the finished product wasn't even good. It wasn't the color I wanted. It wasn't good. And so for me, I'm used to just like grinning and bearing it and just like sucking it up and moving on. But I was like, I went in the car and I looked at my nails and I just started crying. I started crying because it wasn't the color. It wasn't anything I wanted. The experience wasn't good. The color wasn't right. It was just bad all around. And I was treated so roughly. I was treated like a product. You know what I mean? She would do the drill and my nail would start to burn. Oh my gosh. It would burn and I'll pull away and she wouldn't say sorry. And yeah, so she would have to apply pressure because my nail was bleeding. It was a mess. It was a mess. So I don't get my nails done anymore, long story short. But I went back in there to get it redone and get it done correctly by a different person, but I never went back. And you know me, and that's the thing, like, I have to unlearn so much because I even gave her a tip because I feel bad because I work in service and I know what that's like. Anyway, so so yeah. Yeah, so I'm learning that I'm sensitive and soft and I can't accept everything. I can't be everywhere and I can't do everything. So this is what I wrote down on February 23rd, 2025. Here we go. I am sensitive. I am soft. Speak to me kindly. Keep my name sweet on your tongue. Savor my name in your mouth. Deal with me gently. I was not made to be treated roughly. Only place loving, gentle, healing hands on me. Hugs are welcome. Laughing taps. We may hold hands and brush fingers. My skin bruises easily. She is sensitive. A fragile, ancient tapestry woven together with great care and love. I do not consent to tough love. There's nothing tough about me. I am flesh, soft, fragile, not as an apology, but as a celebration. A plea to your humanity, that you one day recognize and honor my own. When you speak about me in rooms and spaces I am not in, speak my name with the awe of God. I am holy. I am precious. I am miracle. I am fine art. I am created with care. I was not created for you to mistreat me. I was not created to be your punching bag, your dumping place, your container for your abuse and mistreatment. I am holy. Say my name and tremble. I am sacred. Speak of me carefully. When you lay eyes on me, smile in adoration. What a great work God has done. Treat me as delicately as you would an orchid. I am once in a millennia. I bloom as I please. Be grateful to be able to witness my full expression of myself. Act like it took a year to make me. A great investment. A work of art. Made from the very love, blood, bones of my mother. You wouldn't raise your voice to a precious creation, so why are you yelling at me? You would not strike one you love, so why are you hitting me? Those who have eyes to see, let them behold. Those who have a heart to understand, let them be honest and true. Those without the ears to hear, eyes to see, and a heart set on destroying beautiful things, let them stay away from me. So yes, I wrote that on, what is that? On February 23rd, 2025. And then there's a note on the bottom too, just to myself. It says, I forgot that just because men have decided to treat me horribly, it never meant that I deserved that. Just because they're liars doesn't mean I have to entertain their lies. So yeah, I thought about like men that I dated in the past. I thought about men that have been involved in my life before. And I think about how they have treated me horribly, right? And it made me feel like, oh, I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable, and all these other things. And I love that I'm falling upon this right now because I need this. And it's like, no, it never meant that I deserved that. Just because they chose to do that to me doesn't mean that I deserved it. And I think I grew up always believing that if bad things happened to me, I deserved it. If people mistreated me, I deserved that. And I think that now, full circle, 5 months later? Oh, wow. It's the 23rd. Yay. A whole 5 months later. Anyway, as I'm recording this, it's July 23rd. So that's cool. But yeah, just because those people chose to be mean and cruel does not mean that I was worthy and deserving of that. You know, I think there's a time and place to be defensive and to be harmful to someone, right? If they're trying to harm you, right? But I wasn't harming nobody. so I didn't deserve that. And it never meant that I deserved that. And also, like, just because they're liars doesn't mean that I have to entertain their lies. There have been so many men in my life that have, you know, they can't just leave, right? They can't just go away. Like, they have to destroy your house before they leave so that you remember them forever. They have to leave a scar. And a lot of them will say evil things so that you remember them. They say evil things to hurt you, to bring you down a size when it don't have to be all that. And so a lot of their words echoed through my mind for a long time. And I wrote down in this moment, like, you don't have to believe their lies. It's not true. Because half of those lies weren't true yesterday, right? When they liked you, when they loved you, when they were being kind to you and, you know, falling over themselves to be around you, like, that wasn't true then. So why is it true now? You feel me? When nothing has changed but their cruelty, you know? Okay, real quick. Backstory on the orchid that I mentioned in this, I guess this prose. My mother is taking care of an orchid for me right now because the orchid would not bloom for me. I don't know. It had a bloom when I bought it. It fell off and it never bloomed again. And it just looked like a light-skinned string bean, for a long time. And I gave it to my mom and then it finally bloomed and it had all these beautiful blooms on it. Shout out to mommy. You did that. And, yeah. And I realized like, oh, I'm an orchid. Like, I bloom as I please. Like, orchids bloom as they please. Like, they don't bloom every year. You feel me? They don't bloom all the time. They're just like, girl, whatever. Unless, like, your orchid is different. I don't know. But my orchid is like that. So that's the orchid I was talking about. All right. So I continue saying, I am a summer sunset, a moment of awe and wonder. I am sunrise after an anxious night. I am your mother's happy tears. I am your father's laughter. I am the first time you heard your favorite song. I am the poem stanzas that changed your life. I am the ocean as she swells and retreats. I am the moon, waxing and waning, dancing among the starry heavens. I am high praise on Sunday morning. I am sweating and dancing Saturday evenings. I am a deep embrace when you fall apart. I am a hyacinth in bloom, under naked skies, fragrance riding the wind. I am the first time your baby recognizes you and smiles at you. I am a warm cup of tea on a chilly morning. I am the first time you fell in love. I am precious, sacred, held dear. I am everything good. I am sleeping in on Saturday, the sanctuary of Sunday mornings. Yay. So yeah, that was another entry. I like that one. That was beautiful. I love the line about I am sunrise after an anxious night, because I struggle with anxiety, and sometimes I wake up in a panic. I wake up panicked, and I can't sleep. So it'll be like 3 a.m. I'm up, 4 a.m. I'm up, and then I try to catch a Z, as my aunt says. And then I wake up with the sunrise, and the sun is peeking through the blinds. There is nothing more relieving than seeing the sunrise come through in the morning when you're having an anxious night. There is nothing more grounding. Like, okay, I'm okay. I made another day. I made it. It's going to be okay. So yeah, so here's something else that I wrote. It's called I do not consent to tough love. So here we go. I do not consent to tough love. There is no need to love me toughly. You may instead love me gently, sweetly, carefully, and kindly. Love me bravely, boldly, generously. What about a healing love? What about a healing love, a safe love? What about honesty wrapped in honey? My love does not harm, so why must your love harm me? The price of love is not suffering. The price of belonging is not humiliation. I never needed tough love. My heart is soft. My soul is sensitive. So many have convinced me that I must toughen up. I am unwilling to be treated roughly or toughly. I deserve kindness, grace, the benefit of the doubt, soft hands, and gentle words. I deserve to be treated as if I am fragile, a piece of art. Other ways to love me besides toughly, or other love I qualify for besides tough. Not tough love, but fun love, gentle love, generous love, warm love, healthy love, sweet love. Shout out to Anita Baker. Brave love, love that takes up space and fills a room. Healing love, safe love, gentle love, big love. Instead of being tough with my heart, be careful, be thoughtful, mindful, measured. I do not need tough love. I need care. I need hope. What about love with self-control, commitment, consistency, care? Love me well out loud. Love me with integrity. Love me well in private. You do not have to love me toughly. You can tell me the truth gently. And even if I don't receive it the first time, is that an invitation for harm? I am sensitive. Please be kind to me. So yeah, that was, I think, the last entry. But yes, I am sensitive. Please be kind to me. Like those are my standards, right? Like kindness. Kindness takes strength. A lot of people see kind people and think that they're weak or gullible or, I don't know, childish maybe even. But it takes strength to be kind, actually. It takes resilience to be kind. It takes bravery to be kind, because there's always a possibility that somebody won't exchange kindness to you back, right? There's always skin in the game. And I love living my life that way. Even with my relationships, right? Romantic or otherwise. I think about the times I've had with them, and I don't regret the love I gave them. I don't regret, the kindness I gave them, because I meant it. I meant it when I did it. And it just hurts because I can't do that anymore, because they might not be safe or they might not be around, whatever it is, right? Like I expect to be treated how I treat people, but that's not always what you get in return. And as a kind person, y'all know that. Okay, as a sensitive person, y'all know that. Sensitive people out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. You don't always get the same softness you give. And I realized as an adult, I can make my own boundaries. I can make my own expectations for friendship. I can have my own standards. And I didn't know that I could do that. I know that's really weird to hear. And it feels really weird to say because, duh, Alicia, you can have your own standards. But not really, right? If you want to be accepted by people, you can't have your own standards. If you want to be accepted by everybody, I should say, you can't. Because people will treat you any kind of way. And you can't have all the relationships you want by having standards, right? And I think people see standards as like, some sort of like classism thing. No, like I am a soft, sensitive person. That means that I cannot have people around me who are not gentle. I can't, or gentle with me. There are so many people that I'm friends with that are very blunt, very, in your face, very straightforward, whatever. Like they're very, they can have sharp tongues or whatever it is. But because they love me, right? And I honor them. Because they love me, they come to me differently, But even, that's the thing, even if they are blunt, it's blunt doesn't have to mean mean. They are blunt with me, but they're not rude because they're not rude people. You feel me? Like they're not rude people. And I think a lot of what we teach people is to accept people being cruel to you. Accept that because that has to be your lot in life. And if you have the standard of kindness, right? You might not have a lot of people, but like you have some, and those that you're around, you can feel like you can unfold. You can be open and safe. I have a group of friends that I've been friends with since high school, and one person from that group, two people from that group from middle school. Yay. From middle school. And we're like all besties, and they love that I'm sensitive. They honor my sensitivity. Like they don't see it as a flaw. They see my sensitivity as a gift, and they love it and they honor it, and it's so healing for me because when I was in elementary school, I used to get bullied a lot because I'm weird. It is what it is. I love it though. But kids can be cruel. And so I was bullied a lot, and I just wanted to be accepted and loved. And in middle school, my prayers were answered. I found a group of friends that accepted me for me. I had a whole classroom full of people who were kind to me and respected me. And now my friend circle is so safe. You know what I mean? And I think safety is something I've been searching for my whole life. I always wanted to feel safe. I hardly felt safe. And when you don't feel safe, you're always on guard. You're always in fight or flight. You're always performing for your safety. And I was placed in a lot of situations where I had to do that. And it felt really good to be seen. It felt really good to be honored for my tears. And, it felt really good to be loved for all of myself because I had been trying to be so thick-skinned my entire childhood. Like, I gotta grow thick skin. I can't cry. I can't cry in front of, So my dad, when he lived with us, I fell down the steps so many times as a kid. And there were times when I fell down the steps and my dad would yell at me. And I never understood that. I was like, why are you yelling at me for falling down the steps? And it wasn't until I got older and we had a conversation and he realized that he didn't know how to be gentle with me. He didn't know how to be vulnerable. And he didn't know how to say, you're my child. I'm afraid that something bad will happen to you. And I want you to be safe. I didn't know, at the time as a kid when you're being yelled at, you're already scared because you fell down some steps and you're probably in pain and all this other stuff. And now your father's yelling at you. And I realized, my people are actually really sensitive. And it might come out differently. It might be expressed differently, like with humor or with jokes or with jabs or being defensive, right? Like, and I realize a lot of people are very sensitive, but they have these coping mechanisms that makes them look like they're not, right? It puts out that they're not. And that made me see the humanity in other people too, right? Like, you're sensitive just like me, but you have a different coping mechanism. You know what I mean? Like where you might not be able to place yourself in softer circumstances or around softer people, you use humor, as your protection. You use a quick tongue, a sharp tongue as your protection. You use, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever, like you have a way to protect yourself, your child self. And I realized underneath of all that armor that everybody has, we are all ooey gooey sensitive people. And I think that we're afraid of being seen as sensitive. I don't know. This is me just talking, right? But I think we're all afraid of being seen as sensitive because we know that the world doesn't like sensitive people and they will victimize you. Like they will find a way, like once the world finds this dark world I'm talking about, like the worst of it, right? Finds what they consider a weakness, which is usually kindness or sensitivity or, oh, she cries. You know, we're always taught, like, don't let them see you sweat as a survival mechanism. Like, but I'm a human and I do sweat. Don't let them see you cry. But I'm a human being and I do cry. And this hurts. You know, this hurts, mommy. This hurts, auntie, who want the best for you, who want you to be protected. But they say that to us not because our sensitivity is bad, but because we live in a world that takes advantage of our sensitivities and our kindness and our hospitality, right? Like, they take advantage of our being hospitable, I should say, of our, you know, wanting to love people, because everybody ain't safe. And even as I am in my 30s, it is an everyday heartbreak and awakening that I have to go through, like a little child again. Like, your heart gets broken all over again. Why don't they like me? Why don't they be kind to me? Why are they doing this to me? You know? And it doesn't matter the reason. It's that they're doing it and they're no longer safe or soft, you know? And so learning that I could have choice, was hard, but liberating, because it's hard to walk away because you want people to choose you. You want people to find you worthy enough to fight for, find you worthy enough to put down their knives and with their weapons, because you're not holding up a weapon. You're not even holding up a shield. You are soft flesh. But I realize that a lot of people who are using those coping mechanisms to protect that sensitive self, right? Because I am soft flesh and you are hard, we cannot rub up against each other because I'm the only one being hurt. You see what I'm saying? I'm the only one bleeding. And you want to stay because you love that person. You want to be in that place because you love this place. You want to stay in this job because you love that job, or whatever it is, the church, whatever it is. Okay. But then you realize, like, oh, this is actually not for my good. This actually hurts. And I didn't know that I could leave. I didn't know that I had a choice. I didn't know that I didn't have to be seen as, using air quotes, good. I didn't have to be good. I could be healthy. I could be whole. I could be loved. I could be respected. You know what I mean? Like, and showing myself that respect first. You know, I could be choosy with my love. And I didn't know I could do that before. So I am sensitive. I am soft. I am snowflake. I am rose petal. I am baby skin. I am a dream upon awakening. I am a memory. I am, you know, the soft scent of a memory. Like, I am all of those things, and I deserve to be treated like those things, starting with myself, obviously, like starting with me treating myself like that. But then also having an expectation. And I think that's the thing. When you go through life and people don't treat you how you want to be treated, you start to believe that you don't deserve to be treated the way you want to be treated, and that nobody will ever treat you that way, right? And it took me some years to learn that that's not true. That's not true. There are people willing to love you how you want to be loved. There are people willing to honor you in all parts of you. Like, there are people willing to see you as holy and sacred, right? It just might not be the people you want it to be, you know? Yeah, and that sucks. That's a sucky realization, because the people you want don't want you. That sucks, you know? That always sucks. But I would much rather live a full feeling life than be closed off, you know? Because when I experience joy, y'all, I experience joy. It's like blissful. Like, when I experience sorrow, it is deep sorrow, you know? And it sucks in the moment, but it's healthy. It's healthy to grieve. It's healthy to, you know, to cry. It's healthy to be angry. It's healthy to defend yourself. It's healthy to raise your voice. You know what I mean? Like, it's healthy. Like, it's healthy to be angry that somebody would disrespect you, because you're a holy, sacred being. You feel me? Like, it's normal. Like, that is normal. But a lot of black girls, our anger was taken away from us. Our boundaries were taken away from us. Our preferences, I feel like I'm gonna cry. Our standards were taken away from us. Our options were taken away from us because we had to perform. We had to be good. We had to be good. I have a video, I think I released it like maybe 2 years ago. And in the video, I basically said that, like, the reason why women have a problem with this, like, you know, unlearning patriarchy stuff is because from birth, they're taught they have to be liked. That being liked is how they get safety. Being liked is how they get love, right? Like, being liked is how they get approval and connection. Like, you have to be good. You have to be liked. And usually that means putting down your own preferences, putting down your own boundaries, and putting down your own expectations to meet the expectations of other people, because you're born to serve, right? as little girls. And I'm speaking generally, not everybody was raised like this, but generally speaking, little black girls are born and praised for serving. You know, they're praised for being helpful. They're praised for being polite. They're praised for suffering. They're praised for being a good girl. They're praised for putting down their own feelings, you know? And so I think over the years, black women specifically, we get detached from that, and we don't realize we are angry. A lot of us are angry because we're angry for our little girls, for our little girl selves who didn't get to be angry, who didn't get to be a fully expressed human being, who didn't get to be sad, right? Like, who didn't get to wild out. Even when I think about the gender differences. That's a big deal. Like, boys are allowed to express themselves in a violent way. They're allowed to yell. They're allowed to cuss. They're allowed to scream. They're allowed to punch holes in the wall. They're allowed to do these violent things because boys will be boys. But when women do it, it's seen as worse because we're expecting women to be good, right? It's the most disrespectful thing you can do is yell at a man. Like, the most disrespectful thing you can do is tell a person no. The most disrespectful thing you can do is say, no, thank you, I'm tired, right? Like, because you're not allowed to be a fully expressed human being. You're supposed to perform goodness for other people, but you're not ever supposed to experience it. You know, you're supposed to be good for other people, but people aren't necessarily expected to be good to you. And I think because of that, you start to not expect people to be good to you. Like, people not being good to you becomes the norm, you know? So if that's the norm, then why would you expect people to be good to you? You know, why would you expect to be able to have a preference? Why would you expect to be able to say no or whatever it is, right? Like, to have a boundary. Like, what is a boundary? You're a black woman. What is a boundary? So I think I'm just coming into my own, and I am befriending my rage because she is that girl. And at the end of the day, my rage is love, because it's like having a friend that's like, you hear how they talking to you? Do you see this? How dare they do that to that person? How dare they underpay you? How dare they, whatever, insert thing here that's inflammatory, right? Like, my anger is sacred. And I feel like, again, because of that fear of being called an angry black woman or a bitter black woman or whatever it is, right? An emotional black woman, insert misogynistic or, some misogynoir here. You start to deny yourself the right to feel anger. You start to deny yourself the right to feel rage. And you need to feel that rage. You need to feel that rage and understand that rage is telling you something. That this is not safe. This is not okay. This is not kind. This is not what you deserve, right? Like, you deserve more. You deserve better. This is not where you should be. And our anger tells us to raise our standards. Our anger tells us to move, to change situations. I was going through a situation and I was so angry, I was shaking, and I realized, and every time I say this, I cry. I realized that my body was scared for me. My body was scared for me. That's why she was shaking, because she's in fight or flight. And this is me having a conversation with somebody. She's in fight or flight because she feels like someone's going to hurt us. And she's shaking to get ready just in case she got to fight or run or whatever the heck, you know? And I said to myself, I can no longer do this to her. I can no longer put her in situations where she feels like she has to fight to protect me. You know, where she feels like she has to activate. You know what I'm saying? And my anger is also teaching me, my rage is also teaching me that, I am worthy of more, that I am sacred, that this is not okay, right? And I'm choosing to believe her. I'm choosing to believe her. We have been so, like, disconnected from our bodies. I had a therapy session and my therapist asked me about that. Like, how connected are you to your body? And I'm proud of myself because I've grown. I used to be really disconnected from my body, really disconnected. But now I'm really, like, connected to her, and I'm, doing, like, these things to help connect to my body and see my body as more than something to be consumed, but, like, celebrate my body for all the things she does. Like, her whole function is to love me. My body's whole function is to love me. And what a beautiful thing, right? Like, what a beautiful gift to be gifted a body that loves me. And I want to love her back. And that means taking her out of situations that make her feel unsafe. Taking her out of situations that are not soft, that are not kind, Even, like, when I think about what I eat, I can't eat everything. First of all, I'm lactose intolerant. I know, I'm accepting it now. It is what it is. I'm lactose intolerant and I have IBS, right? So I literally cannot eat everything. Even like vegetables and stuff, I can't eat a lot of raw vegetables because it hurts my stomach. So I can't eat a lot of salads. If I eat a salad, I have to wait like a couple of days. It's a whole thing. It's like there's a whole thing. Like having issues is not fun. I don't recommend it. So when I'm eating, I'm listening to my body. When I'm eating, my body will literally tell me if what I'm eating is good or not. Like literally, I've not listened to her. Okay. I've not listened to her, and I ate some mac and cheese. And while I was eating that mac and cheese, I was like, this tastes delicious. But girl, my body would give a response like, we don't want this. But I'd be like, but it feels good to eat, so I eat it and I get sick. I get sick. My body is literally just designed to love me. And the reason why I get sick is because we cannot process that food. So even me having a stomach ache after that I do to myself, right? Even having a stomach ache after eating milky products is my body loving me. Because my body is responding to me by saying, hey girl, this is not we don't like this. It's like one day a year that I have like legit mac and cheese. And that shout out to my Auntie Jackie. She throws down, but for Thanksgiving, she makes mac and cheese, and I gotta get some because it's Auntie Jackie's mac and cheese, but I can only get a little bit. But when I have a lot, when I indulge, my stomach gets upset, not because her cooking is bad, but because it has cheese in it, and my body cannot. I don't have the enzymes necessary to break down milk. So I'm just like, whatever, girl. Like, I'm going to enjoy myself, but eating it, my body is like, hey girl, we don't like this. You cannot process this. And so then my body will expel it. Okay. That is love. That is love. So even like the unpleasant things, one time I got sick and I really sat there, I was in the bathroom praying, help, please help. and I had this thought and I was like, my body is really Mother Nature. My body is really like a mother. Like when you think about it, my body is my mother. Like my mom made my body with her body, right? So my body is my mother. But then also my body is formed from clay, right? In this idea. And so my body is from Mother Nature, literally. And my body overrides me all the time to take care of me, right? Like, so last summer, I went to a cookout and I thought I was hydrated. I don't know what happened, but whatever. I went to a cookout. I was eating watermelon. That's why I don't understand. But I definitely passed out. I definitely overheated. I was having a panic attack. And I was trying to walk to the car really fast, right? Because I didn't want to pass out in front of other people. I didn't want to, have a panic attack in front of other people because that's embarrassing. We're at a cookout and there's other people here. I'm trying to gun it for the car, y'all. I made it like 3 steps. And my body said, nope, no, you're not. And I sat on the ground on the pavement because I didn't want to fall and hurt myself. And I heard my mother drop everything and run over to me because my mom was there also. I didn't want to stress her out. And so I'm on the ground and I'm overheated. And so people are like, here's, give her some ice, sit her in the chair. I had the skirt on, y'all. It was a mess. It was like this jeans skirt dress thingy. So my legs were just like all sprawled out, all open or whatever. It was so embarrassing. But I think about at that moment, I think about my body overriding what I wanted to do. My body knows best. My body is my mother, right? And so I think about that and I think about the responses that my body gives me is literally like, hey girl, we are dehydrated. There is no way we can walk to this car and you be okay. And so my body will do things to override it, including giving me a stomach ache to get that stuff out of my system, right? Or making me, throw up. My body will throw up. It's not a fun experience, but if I'm being poisoned or my body says that's not good, it's taking care of me. Like my body's whole job is to care for me. When I get a scab or a scar, I've learned to see my blemishes and I'm learning because I get hyperpigmentation. And so, that's when like you have a mark on your skin and say you like fall and you scrape your knee, it gets darker, right? Or if you have a pimple and it pops, it darkens, right? And so I've learned to see even my blemishes as like, oh, like that's a sign that my body loves me because literally I had a pimple and it healed me. But that's love, So trying to change my mind around that stuff. So anyway, all that to say, blah, 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 going back. I have to keep me safe and I have to keep my mind safe, my emotions safe, my body safe. And I am sensitive. And that is just what it is. I'm sensitive to everything. Food, sounds, sights. I also have visual snow. Shout out to y'all. I don't know if y'all got, anyway. But yeah, I have sensitive things. And so I have to treat myself sensitively. Like I am sensitive. If I'm going to have a good, healthy, safe life, I have to treat myself like I am. And I am sensitive. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I love that about me. So yeah. Yay. All right. What have we talked about today? I don't even know. We've talked about a lot. But before we get up out of here, I want to read you something that I wrote on October 1st, 2024. This body, my body, is not disposable. My body was created with intention and care. I will be treated with gentleness and care. My body is sacred, a precious work of art. I will be adored. I will be well loved. So I want to leave that with you. This body, your body, is not disposable. Your body was created with intention and care. You will be treated with gentleness and care. Your body is sacred, a precious work of art. You will be adored. You will be well loved. Yay. So I think we did it. Yay. I hope that you like this first entry, this first audio journal. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it, but I hope that you like it. So until next time, I don't know. What do they say at the end of like journal entries? Love, Alecia. Bye.